In this video segment, we are going to look what happens when I use unsafe screen names. We are also going to see for real many of the grooming tactics and lures and threats discussed earlier in this lesson being used by real predators against somebody that they believe to be a 12-year-old girl. It is important to note that I have used a variety of different screen names that were unsafe in multiple platforms, from games like Roblox and Fortnite or Call of Duty to social networks like social media, Instagram and Snapchat, and of course some of the apps that are popular with us like Musical.ly. The results were the same no matter which platform I was on. I received numerous messages, sometimes as many as 70 or 80 in an hour, and each of them believed that they were messaging inappropriately to a young underage female. So each and every one of the 70 people that messaged me in only an hour with this screen name that you see in front of you, Sweet Sarah 12, they're all potentially very dangerous people. Let's begin. In this one here, we see a talent scout for a modeling agency, and he's offering me an audition. They're looking for young teen and preteen models. Would I be interested? When I say yes, he tells me that the first step would be to go on the cam with them before he'd share it with my boss, and if she liked me, then she would contact my parents. But I don't need to tell my parents until his boss has made a final decision. Now, this looks like a pretty simple lure. It is a classic example. We see lures and lies and secrets all being used in an effort to exploit me. It does appear to be a simplistic pitch, whereby it's obviously a fake modeling job offer, but his use of a combination of different lures, most namely bribery and flattery, as well as a fake job offer, and his attempt to have her keep the audition a secret, shows me that he knows what he's doing. He is appealing to Sarah's ego by flattering her with a modeling job offer and to her desire for fame and wealth, and asks her to keep the secret. The reason he's asking her to keep the secret is to see if she would comply, and if she shows him that she would comply with the secret, that emboldens the predator and it entices him or encourages him to continue. When I suggested waiting for my mom to get home, I said she'd be home in 10 minutes. He said, "It is against company policy for parents to know about the photo shoot or the camera edition until his boss approves of her." And this is obviously a lie. This one's scary. This is a threat. In this one here, I'm told that someone has got my IP address from my computer through the chat room. Your IP address is sort of like a license plate for your car, but it's for your computer. And he is going to use it to get my full house address, which you can't do with an IP address unless you are a police officer with a court order. So that's a lie too. So he threatens me to go on the cam with him or else. I say, please don't, no. Last chance or I post. Please don't, I'm only 12. Okay, I guess I post. The more I beg and plead, the more bold he gets. And he even logs on, as you can see, as somebody else named Julia to add credibility to the threat that somebody is indeed sharing my address on the internet. So, this is another example of lies and scary threats being used by a real predator. When I try to reason with him, you see it gets worse. He enjoys that I'm scared, and this just emboldens him and encourages him. It doesn't help. We need to take threats seriously and get help, but we should never, ever comply with a threat. In this case here, my motto, stop, block, and talk, would have made everything so much better. Stop talking, or in this case, if you haven't started yet, don't start. Stop talking, do not explain why. Block the user immediately, do not delete anything, and talk to a trusted adult and get help. In this case here, we have a man believing me to be underage sending me an inappropriate picture. You can see the link here. So that in of itself is a serious crime. And I'm able to get him to send me an email address to send the picture to. And when I do, I use it to find him. So this is an interesting side lesson for everybody. This is a real-life tricky person. With only an email address, I found him. I'm in Canada. I found him all the way over in a country called Albania, just with an email address. I found his social networking accounts, gaming accounts, and a lot of information about him. As you can see, he doesn't appear scary, and from everything I saw, he appeared normal and friendly. But he is obviously not so much. He is a potentially very dangerous person. And you can see here we're at the blue dot all the way over here, and he is all the way over here in Albania. Another one, same sort of scenario. A much older man sends me a picture that he shouldn't, right here. And again, I'm able to get an email address out of him, and I use that, and I find him here. And you can see he's actually a videographer and photographer for famous orchestras and symphonies in Europe. He's a very well-known guy. And that's him. And again, he doesn't look so scary. He looks very friendly. He looks harmless. Like I wouldn't see him as a threat. But again, what he did indicates to me that he has the potential in him to be a dangerous person. And there he is all the way over there in Greece. So again, a quick side lesson, being very careful what we share about ourselves online, even email addresses and first names, can be used to find us. So some safety tips. Right off the bat, if I had a safe screen name, I would have been unnoticed and avoided a lot of trouble. When I used a safe screen name, for example, Minecraft Master 123 XYZ, you know what happened? Nothing. People would speak with me and talk to me about the game, but I got none of the creepy messages. Screen names that are safe basically avoid doing a couple of things. Not revealing our gender, our age, our name, or our location, and obviously are not provocative in language or image. Children should be familiar with the grooming process. This actually applies for everybody. The more we know about the grooming process, the lures and the threats that predators will use, the better able we are to recognize potentially dangerous people and behaviors and situations. That's true online, that's true in the real world as well. Never accept friend requests from people that you do not know. I know you've heard this many times. If you've heard it once, you've heard it 1,000 times. But by not accepting friend requests from unknown people, we avoid most trouble, most times. Avoid sharing any personal information with anyone online that we do not know well from real life. Even first names, places that we work, any number of things that seem innocent, even the weather, can be used to unmask or reveal our locations and our full identities. And keeping our personal feelings and vulnerabilities offline. It's important to speak with people if we have hurt feelings or we've had a bad day, but let's keep to members of our inner circle. Remember, that would be true friends, family members, trusted adults. And anybody in the outer circle, and that includes anyone we know from the internet, we are to keep personal and private feelings away from them with no exception. One more time, stop, block, talk. If someone says anything scary or sends gross or scary pictures or videos, if we think someone's being too nice, or maybe we're thinking they are trying to groom us, if we begin to recognize any of the online lures or grooming tactics, if we feel threatened, it's the same each and every time. Let's stop talking to that person with no explanation. You don't owe it to them. Stop immediately. Block the user immediately. Do not delete anything, and talk to a trusted adult. And this will conclude this video segment.